Hey guys!
Hey guys!
We're back with another Walking Dead review, this time reviewing Fear the Walking Dead, Season 2, Episode 5, titled Captive. If you haven't seen it yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later, because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. I really enjoyed this episode. It had a lot of tension. It had a nice ode to the comics, issues 119 and 120. And Alex was back, which is really cool because she's my favorite character in the show. But the problem with this episode and Fear the Walking Dead overall is the timeline is all screwed up.
Yeah, it seems like Alex leaving their boat has been at least a couple of weeks, long enough for her to run out of water, have to kill the guy that she was with, and be rescued by them, and then to get into some sort of routine with the group. And it doesn't feel like it's been a couple of weeks while watching the show. It feels like it's been a couple of days, like a week tops.
Yeah, like Alex seems pretty ingrained with Connor's group. Ingrained enough to where she basically has free roam of the place. She can go visit Travis. Now granted, Connor, he grabbed Travis at her request.
Yeah.
So maybe, he let her just go down there to talk to him. But it definitely seems like she has been there for a while. And it can't have been more than 3 days since Strand cut that raft loose.
At least that's how it feels while watching the show. So if it has indeed been a couple of weeks since then, they need to somehow be able to do that a little bit better so that there's more of a cue for the audience that, hey, it's been a couple of weeks, it hasn't just been a couple of days, because it feels like it's only been a couple of days.
And this is an issue that we talked about last week as well. It seems like it's awfully, early in the zombie apocalypse for like-minded evil people to all be finding each other already and forming these, groups of marauders. So just the timeline overall is jacked up, and I really hope they fix it soon.
Yeah.
Also, Jake talks to Alicia about Connor's procedure. Him with that one-on-one conversation, that's part of his procedure. And it seems awfully early in the zombie apocalypse to have a procedure.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that a lot of trial and error you get over time. And it just, even to have things kind of figured out to the extent that they do, it just seems a little implausible in a show about zombies.
And part of that procedure is that newcomers are not allowed to roam around on their own, which Alex is doing. Therefore, she can't be a newcomer.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the timeline issue.
So there's all kinds of problems with this episode and with Fear the Walking Dead overall. That being said, this was a really good episode.
Yeah, if you put those aside and just say, well, they just messed up the timeline, whatever, you overlook that. This was a really great episode. I mean, we got Alex back, and at first she seemed super, super pissed at Travis, but then they kind of talked and almost smooth things out. It's like they were able to come to an understanding because, Travis had to put his wife or his ex-wife down, and she had to put her friend down, and so it's like they bonded over having to kill people who were going to turn into zombies.
And she had this really great line where she tells Travis that, Connor says he can use me, but nobody uses me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That, Alex is playing Connor at that point, and of course because of, the Reed is actually a walker with a bag on his head trick, Connor is no longer a threat. The rest of his remaining forces could be, because I get the feeling there's way more of them than we've actually seen so far. But I don't know that for sure. It just seems like there should be. Like, they should have people fishing out there. They should have, soldiers almost.
And if the group wasn't all bad before, I think they might be now, because basically they stole this stuff from these people. It took some of their people, and they retaliate by killing like 3 or 4 of their people,
including their leader.
People. Yeah, including the leader. They might now want to get back at Madison and her group because of that. So they might not have been as evil as Reed was, but this might have pushed them over the edge.
Like, Alicia totally leaves Jake high and dry.
Yeah.
And so any feelings of animosity he might have could potentially turn violent.
Yeah, and she completely used his crush against him. And she did such a great job that I actually was believing that she was interested in him. And I was like, oh, you cannot be this stupid. No, he lured these people to your boat. He is the reason you and Travis got caught. You can't be this stupid. No, she wasn't, thankfully. She was just playing him.
Speaking of, you can't be this stupid kind of moments, Chris. Oh my God, Chris. The kid just needs to die already. Seriously.
Yeah, I kind of have, this episode kind of gives me the impression that he might either kill himself straight out, or he might put himself in a situation that ends in his death, knowing that it's gonna, like death by zombie. Something like that. I think his psyche's not able to process this new world, and he's spiraling badly.
As he says, Reed was about to turn, so he had to put him down. But he didn't destroy the brain. He just shot him in the face.
He didn't put him down.
Which means it was essentially a crime of passion. He got angry and he killed Reed.
Yeah.
And almost, ended in the demise of his own father, which he's like, did I just screw things up where we were going to trade him for my dad? And he's like, oh God. And I'm like, yeah, you idiot.
You idiot.
Like,
think things through.
Like Chris, you can write some of the things off he does due to teenage angst and dealing with the loss of his mom, and it's the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, what that's doing to his psyche.
It's a lot to process. So a lot of what he does, you can excuse away. This episode, though, is really over the top. It's time for Chris to go, which is really kind of a shame because we've met him, and he's a super nice kid.
Oh, the actor's awesome.
He's a super nice guy, but I want his character to die. I want to go back to Alex for a minute because Travis and Alicia and Maddie, they leave, and Alex is still at Connor's base. So I don't know when or if we'll get to see her again. I really hope it's sooner rather than later because she is a super interesting character, and it would be a waste to not tap into that.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to mention in this episode, near the end of it, Jake tries to play a little bit of a mind game with Alicia, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. He says, they left Alex, they'll leave you too. Well, see, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Alex isn't family.
Yeah.
They're a family, even though they're, a divided family a lot of the time. They're still a family, with the exception of Strand, basically,
Yeah.
and Daniel Salazar and his daughter, but they're a family. And just, I think Jake might have played his hand a little too far there.
Yeah, but Alicia's got to be like 17, and he seems a similar age. It is totally something a high school boy would say because his crush is walking away, to guilt her into staying. So it was stupid, but it's totally plausible that he would say that. And his character just doesn't seem very bright, so...
No, his character does seem like a bit of a dumbass.
So it's totally in character.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's it for this review. If you caught something in the episode that we missed, let us know down in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, and we really hope you did, tell us by dropping a like on it and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.